Well, it's been about 24 days since I relapsed by watching porn. And basically, I just put it on my accountability dry erase board, and that, for me, that worked. I think for most people, it's just finding what works. And oftentimes, what works, at least in my mind, isn't, the stereotypical thing. I don't know, I'm not trying to speak for everybody, but at least in my experience, we're made to think that, the only solution is to go to group meetings and go talk to a therapist. And I tried that. The therapist helped, but I don't think I need to keep going at this moment. It's expensive, $250 every time I go. And it just feels like an interview, really. I don't know what I'm getting out of it, to be honest with you. That's the problem. And I don't know if people maybe they're not supposed to know what they're getting. I honestly don't know. It's such new territory for me. I'd never have had therapy in my entire life, and I just don't know how to deal with it. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what to get out of it. I don't know how to communicate with the therapist. So many things I don't know, and I've seen on TV. That's all I know. The person sits on the couch and they look up at the ceiling and they just talk about the problems, and the person says, "Oh, well, what do you think of that?" Or, "Whoa, why do you feel that way?" And I thought that's how it was going to be, but it's more along the lines of just an interview, and I don't know. I don't understand it. Maybe there's things going on that I just don't get, but regardless, the dry erase board works really, really well for me, because I know if I mess up, I have to redo the board, and that sucks. That sucks, redoing that board. It takes 4 hours, and I've learned from reading Dopamine Nation that that's a self-binding technique. Another technique would be like putting something over your phone to keep you from using it all day long. That's self-binding. Or throwing out all the alcohol in your house, and not just in the trash can, but taking it somewhere where you can't access it ever again. That's self-binding. So for me, this works, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day, isn't it? Whatever works for you, whatever keeps you away from the addiction, as far as your feelings go towards the addiction, that's really, really hard to help. Really, really hard to help. And as far as changing how you feel about addictions, I don't know if there's anything for that, unless we're talking like extreme methods. And I'm not down for that. I just have to deal with my brain and what it thinks from time to time, which is addictive thoughts. And for alcohol, I've never thought of drinking alcohol ever again, ever since I quit. And that was nice, but I wish it could be like that for pornography and other things, but it's not. And you have to be a little bit more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, anal, I guess, for lack of a better word, as far as your methods go, as far as keeping you away from it. I'm just really big on trying to change like my chemistry of the brain and how I feel about addictions, and I've came to the realization that for certain things it's just not going to happen. I'm just going to be stuck with that addiction, that feeling, those emotions in my brain forever. There's nothing I can do about it, and that sucks. But the main thing is to not do those activities, and then, like I said, as far as the feelings and everything, the thoughts I have in my brain, I shouldn't feel bad about those. That's something I can't help, but sometimes I do. Yeah, so I guess that's it for now, guys. I don't know. I feel like this dry erase board is going to work really well for me here on out, and I guess that's all I have to say for now. I'm not really doing any more group meetings. That are just, I don't like them. I felt very timid and very shy and scared and anxious, all the bad feelings, and I just didn't like it. I don't feel this connection that some people feel with other people, and that might be part of me that wants to distance myself from new people, because I've had such bad experiences in my past from friends and such, where I don't want new people in my life, to be honest. And that's another thing we're all made to think, is that we need this big, group of friends. We need to find good people at church and whatnot. Church isn't where you're going to find good people. There's good and bad people everywhere. There's good and bad people at bars. There's good and bad people at church. And you can't just go to church and find good people. If anything, in my experience, you're going to find judgmental people at church. And I don't want friends like that. So I'm constantly trying to justify this stuff to myself, because I hear it so often from people I listen to on the internet, and you see it so often too, where people have these large circles of a circle of friends, and I just don't have that. And I think it's one of those things that I want to want. You know what I'm saying? But I've just learned over the years that it's what's best for me, and popular opinion will tell you, oh, it's not good for you to not be having, to not have friends. I have a couple friends, but I keep them really, really, really far away. That way, I don't find out too much about them, because with men, I don't know why, but I don't want to overgeneralize men, but in my experience, most men just turn out to be pretty bad people, and sometimes just monsters of people. That it makes me really sad for humanity sometimes to know the true feelings and intentions and thoughts of people that I've gotten to know, and it's made me think, golly, like, why do I just attract bad people, or are men just bad, period? And I think in general that because of the internet and TV and all these bad movies, and just the overarching theme now in society is very selfish and very self-centered and very me, and screw you, and this is my team, we're going to win. And there's just no togetherness, it seems like, anymore. There's no humanity. I don't know. It's the only time you can see it is whenever really bad things happen, like tornadoes, and people are like, look, we're all people that are willing to give and work together. And I'm like, yeah, but it takes a freaking tornado to get us to do that. It shouldn't take a tornado. It shouldn't take a mass shooting. It shouldn't take an act of terrorism for people to come together. But sadly, that seems how it is now, and it makes me really sad. And I don't know. I guess I used to be a little more willing to give people a chance, but I'm not willing anymore, especially after my former friend almost killed me. I had an out-of-body experience where I was hovering over my own body while he was choking me out, and after that, no, I don't want any more new friends. And I feel like that's a really good reason for it. But I do feel like I'm all alone sometimes. Like I'm all alone in so many things, especially good things, and that makes me feel selfish and prideful, because I was raised to not talk about those things. You not even feel those things, because if you feel them, then that might be the devil, So I'm constantly living a catch-22 life, I feel like. And God, maybe that's some stuff I should have talked about with a therapist. But I don't know. I was just talking about whatever the therapist wanted to talk about, and that's kind of how it went. It wasn't really what I wanted to talk about. That might be my problem, but I'm a people pleaser. That's me. I gotta make sure everybody's okay in the room, even the therapist. Golly. Anyway, God, how long have I rambled? 10 minutes? Just this monologue. But yeah, going back to what I was saying a while ago, this is such a hard thing for me to say, but I do feel like I'm a good person. And golly, why is that so hard to say? I do feel like I've done well in life. I do feel like I help people out when I can. I do feel like I'm a good husband to my wife, and that I'm doing everything that I should be doing. And I just don't think a lot of other men are doing those things, and that's the problem. That's the disconnect I feel with other men. And I think if I met somebody like that, obviously I would have no way of knowing, and we probably wouldn't want to know each other, because like-minded people oftentimes, well, at least in this situation, somebody that has the same mind as me would want to distance themselves from new people. So yeah, there's a little bit of a paradox, but anyway, I've rambled on enough here, and this helps me more than anything. I feel like this helps me more than the therapist. We will see you on the next one, guys. And I know I'm getting hardly any views on this channel. It doesn't really matter to me. As selfish as this sounds, this is mainly for me. This is mainly for me, and my wife, she can check in on here and just see what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. And if you happen to see this video, thank you for watching. And you know, you can subscribe, you can get my subscriber count from 1 to 2. I would double my subscriber count. Not that it matters. It doesn't really matter at all to me. So we will see you on the next one, whenever that is. I don't really know.